This is nice. I like it.
You like it? Okay.
Yeah, it's cute. It's a nice aesthetic.
Thank you.
Body physically sexy, something steady, smooth like a 5-star lady. That's my baby, the girl that makes me.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome. Today is my first interview slash podcast slash everything. So today I'm here with Miss Jadah.
Hi everyone.
She specializes in financial literacy and just everything with finances. So we're about to get down, okay?
Period.
Yes.
Let's get into
we
it.
need to, have the black girl luxury, understand how to get there, because it's not just an image, it's about doing what you need to do. That's luxury.
Yeah.
It's not just the aesthetic of things.
Right.
And your bank account looks a hot mess.
Because a lot of people,
Exactly.
we won't talk about
Exactly.
you're right.
So yeah, I just want you to introduce yourself.
Yes.
Our guest.
Hi everyone, my name is Jadah Quick. Pretty much I am the CEO and founder of Adulting with Mom. It's a financial literacy educational platform that I created about 2 years ago now. And I just basically help anybody that really listens, but definitely target millennials and really help them with budgeting, savings, paying off their debt. And I'm super excited that my number has been growing with my clients. And if you follow me on Instagram, you'll see help a lot of my clients pay off like over $90,000 worth of debt and save like about 85 now.
Oh wow.
So I'm super excited to keep growing that number. But yeah, that's basically a little bit about me.
Definitely. Awesome. So tell me about yourself. Like, how did you get started in this, and what motivated you to help other people with this?
Right, so pretty much my story is growing up, I'm originally from New York, Jersey area. So I was,
Jersey.
Right. Newark, what's up? So pretty much, I just grew up on a restricted budget, right? So like my parents were were hardworking middle class citizens, and when the recession happened, right, in 2008, I was on my way to go to boarding school. And that's when I started realizing, like, oh wow, like finances is a huge deal, and maybe my parents didn't talk about it too much because a lot of crap was hitting the fan.
Yeah.
So with that said, I just started seeing those things, and I realized sometimes those conversations, especially when it came around money, would cause arguments, or there was some type of tension. And I was like, wow, okay, money must be the root of this, right? And so in my head at a young age, I was just like, I don't want this. So I always just was like, I need to make the most money I can, you know?
Yeah.
So I started, trying to stick with STEM. I graduated from Mount Holyoke College with a math degree and Chinese minor. So I was like, I'm doing something. Yeah, I was like, I gotta do something with money. And then I realized as an adult, regardless if you have the money, it's how you steward the money, right? And so that's when that came in. So I say Adulting is Ghetto.
Yeah.
Shout out to my new podcast. Yeah, check it out. But pretty much, I remember having my first paycheck, and I spent a lot of my money. I did not do the proper money date. If you're a client of mine, you know what that is. And just taking the time to look at my finances, and I actually woke up with a negative $500 bank account. And I was just like, oh my God, like, how can I do this? I'm calling my dad, like, Dad, what are they doing? They're like, what did you do? I said, I don't know. And so from that very embarrassing moment, I said, never again. So that's what sparked my interest to really learn way more than what we were taught, because we're not taught this, right? So I was just like, what can I do to become financially literate? And I just started learning from there.
Okay, wow.
Yeah. My embarrassing story started it all, so.
It happens. It happens to the best of us.
It does.
Definitely. Sometimes it takes you to go down to be able to accelerate up.
And that's why I feel like my platform is great, because I try to tell people I'm a millennial, figure it out too, and don't learn from my mistakes. Don't go through them, right? And of course my other friends too, or anybody, who listen.
So tell me about investments.
Okay.
So the difference between, like, let's say saving, right?
Okay.
What kind of investments would you recommend to the millennial people, if anyone, really,
Right. So let me start by saying I am not a licensed financial advisor, okay? You will not sue me in my business, okay? But I will say everything I will say on this will be for educational purposes.
Of course.
Okay.
Of course.
So with that said, I am a financial educator. So where I would say, to answer your question, where to start. So investing, right?
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people have their own different biases of like when they should invest.
Okay.
Personally, I'm a big advocate that you could do it all. I really do believe you can like save, you can pay off your debt, you can budget and have better money practice and invest. It may take a little more organization. Mm-hmm. You may not be able to put as much as you want, but you can do it all.
Yeah.
And so I try to give that approach. So with investing, I personally, for me, in order to get to the point where I'm investing consistently, right now, I had to manage my debt. I had to pay off that debt. Some people know I paid off $10,000 worth of consumer debt in a year. I just was like, not playing. I was like, period. No, you can't. And so that was what freed me to have the extra money to do some investing consistently. So I say that to say, sometimes you have to figure out your financial situation first and see where your money is going. Obviously, which comes with a budget template or something comes in, and you see what's coming in, what's coming out, and then you can actually make a necessary adjustments of like, okay, I can afford to put this away and not miss it. If that makes sense. Hopefully that answers your question.
Hide the money.
Yeah, hide it in somewhere that makes money. Don't put it under your bed or like our grandma's maybe used to do.
Make it grow.
Yeah, make it grow. But yeah, sorry. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, but I would ask like in terms of what specific moves to make for investment.
Gotcha. So like in the markets or
in the market
okay.
or whatever. There's multiple ways of making investments these days. But like if you were just starting, what would you do? Right. So I just started, like I said, you gotta get organized. You need to know what the heck you can put in consistently, right? Because the big part is time and consistency. Yeah. So some people be like, oh, I'm investing, and they like buy a few stocks from Robinhood every 3 months. That's fine. It is. I'm not gonna shame it, but it's like you won't see consistent growth, you know, and we can't really judge your success over a portfolio if you're so inconsistent, and that's okay. So I would say starting with a budget, and if you do follow me, there's a link in my bio for a free budget template that's always free. You can check it out and see, okay, what am I paying on a necessary basis, all my expenses, fixed versus variable, what do I have left over, right? Then you move into, let's focus on emergency fund. I think the priority should be budgeting yourself next, like after you pay your bill, before you pay your bills, you know, invest in yourself by paying for yourself, emergency fund, and creating that, and then your bills, and then whatever's left over you can put into investments. Because the thing is with investing, I think people forget, this is money that you want to be comfortable with not seeing for a little bit. Like that's how investors work at the time. Yeah. So a lot of my clients sometimes be like, oh, I want to put in $500 now, and maybe in a year. So I'm like, depending on what you're putting it in, you may see something or you may not. So to answer your question, I think it's really beginning before you even get to the investing is seeing how much you can actually put in consistently. Now, if it is $5 a week, cool. Let's look into those things. Do you want me to explain like different avenues? Yeah. So there's one of the things that I do or teach with my clients, and I started off with, and I still do. Depending on how much you can put away, you can literally start with $5. I've heard that before. It's true. You know, there's different ways to do it, but there's fractional shares that you can get into, which obviously means, if you don't know, say Google, well, they're about to have a stock split, so it's actually really good. Yeah. But Google, you know, or Apple is like over $1,000 per share, right? Which most average people, millennials, may not be able to afford in one bite. So now you have a fractional share in a sense, where now it can be, you put $50, you have that portion of what that is, that fractional share that you own, which is better than not owning at all, right? Mm-hmm. So if that's something that you're really interested in, you could do that. Another thing I do for me personally, because I was starting small and marginally, is actually investing in REITs. REITs are real estate investment trusts. Oh, nice.
Yeah, they're more affordable. They're pretty much, if you think of a stock, just in real estate, but you don't actually own, right? Like you own it, but you don't own it like you're owning a home or something like that. Yeah, so it's a little different. But with that said, there's REITs everywhere. Like if you think of like your local mall, it's most likely part of a REIT. If you think about a hospital, there are definitely hospital REITs that are focused on that. It's real estate that are in these trusts that you can buy into, and you can possibly get a dividend depending on what you get in and all that great stuff, which are more affordable than your average stock.
Yeah.
Of course, you can obviously invest in real property real estate. People do that all the time. You see people are getting homes, they're flipping homes. That's another thing, if you want to get into that. Wholesaling is another way to do that. There's so many ways, honestly, I'm trying to think. And then, of course, like I said, the stock market. That's something, but also ETFs or index funds. That's mutual funds, where instead of just one Google stock, you may have a tech fund that you're investing in. This mutual fund, which has Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, and all the big leagues. But I personally suggest those because technically when you do invest in this, if one of them were to tank, the rest can hold it together unless the whole tech industry dies. Then, you gotta obviously change your method here, if that makes sense. So yeah, those are like different ways you can invest. High level, I'm sorry, I'm trying to
I didn't even know about that, so.
Yeah, I love that way because it's super it's more affordable and it's more obtainable for someone that's growing a portfolio, like such as millennials, right? And of course, as you get more money, you steward your money well. You don't change your lifestyle too much with the increase, but actually can start to use that to make more.
Yeah,
you can be a force to reckon with.
Got you. So I want to ask you, what does financial literacy mean to you?
Yeah, so I love that question. So financial literacy means to me, everyone's different. I always say this too before I answer. Personal finance is personal, right? How I fix my finances may not work for you or whoever else, but there are different ways to get there, right? And so with that said, financial literacy to me is actually having really the affordability to just pick up and go, right? And when I say pick up and go, I mean if that's traveling, do what I want, wake up and not have to worry about me clocking in, if that makes sense. I think of abundance. I think of making sure my family is taken care of. So if something were to come up, I can afford to do that, if that makes sense. So that's financial freedom-ish. They would say, some people would say that, but the real definition of financial literacy is really just actually being able to make informed decisions over money, and your money decisions. But a lot of people describe it as financial freedom, so that's why I'm let me get both. But yeah, that's how I would say.
Perfect. I mean, I agree with you. If I were to answer for myself, I feel like for me, financial literacy is just having the understanding that I'm going to unlearn what I've been taught. Period. A lot of things that we're taught in this capitalist everything, they teach us to be oppressed, or basically they don't want to show us how to really make money. For example, with taxes, the rich make so much off of writing off so many things, and they don't teach people about entrepreneurial ventures and how to do certain things so that you're able to write things off. Or if you are an influencer, if you are a content creator, how to do that. They keep you in a system and a rat race and a wheel that you can't get out of, so that you're not able to make residual or passive income. Right. So that you're making the money work for you instead of you working for the money. Yeah.
And that definitely falls into capitalism. That definitely falls into. There was a post I saw. It was like, you don't hate Mondays, you hate capitalism. I was like, oh my god, because it's true.
Yeah.
But no, I agree with you, and I think that's what I strive to do. And that's why I started the business, and I'm actually now starting to see the benefits of having a business when you think of taxes, because I'm able to write off things now. So it definitely is a key to building wealth, or one of the ways. Obviously there's different ways you can do it, but
definitely. So talk about taxes for the people in their 20s and how to get started with that.
Okay, so I'm again not a certified professional tax accountant. No, I only say this because I have a money team basically with me, so obviously I cannot be a professional on every little thing. So my personal tax professional is Shania Wilson. Shout out to her, Ola Financial. File with her, she's amazing. And she's from New York, actually, the Bronx specifically. So yeah, she's amazing. And so pretty much what I learned from her, because that's what my clients learned and I learned from her, is that there are ways to really benefit and have some tax abatements or just things like that. So high level, I guess, to answer your question, when you are thinking about taxes, it is based on what you want to get out of it. I know for me, when I first started working, I screwed up my taxes. So just be honest with you. I took wrong knowledge from people about certain things, and I forgot that I was going to be making more money now. I'm no longer an intern. So with that said, I was owing a lot of taxes, and I didn't realize until it was time to owe it, and I didn't have it. So I was like, fuck, I messed up. And so pretty much she's been helping with that. But I would say this, get used to living on, like if you have exemptions, I'm sure you're familiar with that. If you don't, that's how much you take out of your taxes, Uncle Sam. Do a lower exemption. Get used to seeing not most of your check, because I think sometimes it's harder to go backwards. And that's what I had to do. I didn't, because I didn't realize. And I was like, damn, I'm really poor. But I worked my lifestyle around that, and that's where I messed up. And so, and this was like over a year. Like I worked for a year, then taxes came. So I had to I was almost in a cycle. So my advice with that for millennials and anyone starting out, definitely get on top of that and understand your taxes where you are. And if you live in a different state, you know, from where you actually work, you probably are getting double tax. So know what that looks like, or consider that when you're thinking of jobs, because
double tax.
Kind of like you have two. Like I remember when I was living in Jersey and I was working in New York. So and my dad does this. He gets taxed from New York and Jersey. So that's technically two taxes, right? That you're paying, or it's being taken out, really. And so that's important to know, because some people really are like, well, I don't want to do that, you know. But you know, just again, it's each his own, of course. But I say to say, knowing that, and then also to, like I said, getting used to what your check is, because I think it's almost better that you, and again, everyone won't agree, but it depends on what you're trying to do. I think it's better that you get used to living on the lesser, so that you make sure that you're living within your means, and then you get the refund from that, right? Because it is your money back. You can, I guess, enjoy it a little bit better. Sometimes there's this big thing with social media. It's like, I'm gonna get my refund check and live it up. It's like, it's just your money. It's your money coming back to you.
It's nothing.
It's not. It's not. So I think, I don't know where this misconception comes from, but it's like,
or you use your tax refund for this, that, and I'm gonna get a car now.
And it's like, you still have to afford this car. Like, I mean, most refunds are not that astronomical, you know, large than what you have. Like, I've seen on the memes, like, I'm gonna go to Red Lobster and order a whale. Like, okay. Like, and I love the jokes, but it's like, some people really do think that. So I would say, if you get into the mindset, because it's really huge here with financial literacy, is that living within your means, doing a lower exemption. So when you get the refund check, see what you could do with the extra lump sum of your own money that you already just overpaid taxes for. And maybe instead of like, and nothing's wrong with feeding your own, like if you've been working hard, you would have deserved something, go ahead. I'm not saying that.
Or vacation.
Because I did that. I took my refund and I booked vacations, okay? I was like, I was running with it. But I also have my investments in order and my emergency fund is bulked up. Like I have my priorities set where I can do such things. There's some people that don't have any of that, and they would rather go buy a bag or depreciating assets such as a car, and it's like, now you're stuck with that payment. Like, you got a down payment from your refund, but you now have to afford it. And you probably can't, you know what I'm saying? Or you may, I don't know, but you know what I'm saying? So that's my advice. It depends on the person. And again, this, like I said, all this is very relative. Very, that's why we're like in the beginning, it really depends. Personal is your personal, not mine.
I mean, it's very like, a lot of people, they don't understand certain things like that. Like for me, whenever I get my tax return, I put it away.
Right.
Like I don't look at it.
Right.
So I put
and that's a good practice.
Yeah. For me, I've like, my discipline with money just came from a young age. Like you know, for my birthday I would get money and I would just keep
Love that.
Like I would just keep it. Like I never spent my money, and I developed a lot of money after that. And then my brother or my my siblings would be like, oh, can I borrow this or that? And they wouldn't give it back. So then I learned then I learned from that, and I was like, okay, I think that for me also taught me, like, don't play with my money. Like, I don't play about my money.
No.
So, you know, that taught me a lot, and I felt like, you know, with the tax return, like you said, everything about money, it's a mindset.
It is.
Because if we're in scarcity, or a lot of Black people, they've been taught to be afraid of money, or making money, or how to use it, you know.
And we could talk about that, actually. If we have time. What I've learned, Because I thought, I was like, oh, it's just like, you just need to read some books, listen to some podcasts, and be all right. No, a lot of this is tied to how we're brought up. Trauma around money. Like I mentioned, I said, I remember seeing, and I'm not saying my parents are still married to this day. I'm 27 this year.
Oh, nice.
Yes. 29 years for them come September.
Oh, wow.
And but the thing is that I noticed the strife or like little complications came around the money when the recession happened, because obviously they lost their job. So I mean that would cause a strife in anyone's relationship. But the reality is that's where I started noticing, or they started noticing, the lack of their financial literacy and education. Which again, whose fault is it? They're not taught that. And my parents are older. Right. And so they're just like, we're taught to get a job, invest in 401k, and unfortunately they had to tap out their 401ks because they have bills, and they didn't really have big emergency funds. They have a daughter going off to boarding school. It was a lot. And so from that taught me in small ways, like when I got money originally, I was like, oh, I want to hold on to it. Versus maybe someone like could get money and they just want to spend it because they're like, well, I ain't never had this. So and it's both of them are fine responses. Well, not really, but both of them are coming from like how you were groomed. And so one's not better than the other. It's just all about your mindset. It's like, okay, when I get this extra money, I have a budget system. I put 10% to tithes or charity giving, whatever you like. I'm a woman of faith, so I do that. But then I also put 10% to my emergency fund. And then I put 10% to my investment fund. And then the rest is for bills. And then the rest of that, after bills, is fun money, right? And that's how I developed. But everyone's budget system is going to be different. There's so many different types of ways you can. My mom always said, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time. There's so many ways you can eat an elephant. That works for you and your family.
Definitely. I mean, I think for me, my trauma with money was just not having a lot growing up.
And that's most of us.
And I think like with my partner, I think he can relate to you more, because it was like, for him, he saw his parents, that was their fighting thing. Like they would fight more about money. Like for me, my parents, my dad was making most of the money. So it was like when he wasn't making money, then it was like stressful for us. And I would always ask questions like, what's going on? But my dad, he actually at a point was making $1 million a year with his company.
Wow. That's good.
Like he's always been someone who can make money. But it was like, because of the mentality and the mindset that he had, it was like work hard. But then when it came to actually managing money, he didn't know how to do that. So it was, he made a lot, but he didn't know what to do with it and how to invest it so that it could grow, so that it could pay for his children to do this, that, and other. But then, when it actually came to the point where something happened or something big happened, then it was taken away. You know what I mean? So that for me, it was like when things didn't go well with his financial situation, it affected our lives.
And it did, Same. I mean, I'm an only child, so when I remember my mom lost her job first, I think, and then my dad did. No, I'm lying. It was my dad first, and then my mom. And that was different too, because my dad also was like the breadwinner. And from my knowledge, because again, I didn't really talk too much about it with them, and that's another thing. We don't talk about it.
We don't talk
that's
about
a huge thing.
A lot of things.
A lot of this is assumptions. Like to this day, of course, it's so funny. I've done other interviews, and like I'll tell my story or articles, and my mom would call me like, I did this part. I was like, well, you didn't tell me, right? And like, I didn't know this part because you don't share this with me. And so it's hard, but like, you don't share the things, and how can we learn from those mistakes, So I think it's super huge that we talk about it. And that's part of the reason why I started my business, to actually have more conversations around it and make it more normal, and depending on when it airs, or just follow, I'm starting, I'm gonna have a game that actually helps couples that are dating, or, and just in general, like maybe, if you're seriously dating, you don't have to know your business too much if it's like a first or second date, but people that are interested in pursuing the next level, to actually talk about finances and bring a little bit more ease into it. Because a lot of clients of mine, a lot of my clients are thinking about moving in with their partners, or I've had clients I've had partners as couples as clients.
Okay, yeah.
Like, how do I say that? I've had couples as clients, and it's so interesting because it can be very vastly different how someone thinks about it. And it's really solely, no one's right or no one's wrong in a sense, but it's more like they're just brought up that way. So they're used to seeing that. And they felt like, well, when I saw this happened. So I'm not gonna do this. Exactly how I started my story. But it's like, actually, I need to reframe it. I think it was a beautiful way you said it. Unlearning the bad habits, adapting new ones or better ones. Everything is not going to be the same, and things change.
Yeah, definitely. I think a lot of issues that we have, especially in the Black community, but just as people in general, like our issues come from our past or our trauma, and then it frames our mindset on how we live and do everything with life.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if it's money, if it's friendships, if it's this, if it's that. You know, it affects everything that we were grown up seeing. Affects our whole entire life.
It does.
So yeah, I mean, one of the things that I'm working on or learning about is like shadow work. I didn't really know. I don't know that much about it. I just found out about like last week.
Okay, that's fine. You're an expert.
But like basically just going into yourself and like why things are your triggers and stuff like that. And then also like for Elijah and I, we went through a paper where we put it in half, like we fold it in half.
Okay.
And one side is like what we're afraid about with money, and then the next side is about like our abundance or the changing the narrative about money.
I love that.
So
is this like a therapy session? Or
no, we sat right there.
Oh, I love that. And it's beautiful.
Yeah.
There are couples I know that don't even talk about, like, I'm like their first resource of talking. Like, I remember a client, I was like, I really want to move in, but I don't know how to say my shoulder's been too much, or I feel like it's been too much. And I'm like, well, maybe you shouldn't say it like that, because you're gonna start some strife. But I would be like the mediator in that. So that's good that you guys were able to do that naturally, because sometimes it's really hard. And finance can be very sensitive to talk about, almost as much as like effectively communicating your emotions or feelings. So I agree. But I also would say too, even about that shadow work, I'm not sure if it's similar to therapy, but shout out to my therapist. I'm all about Black people being therapists, okay? Being Black in America.
You gotta hook up.
I got you. Look, okay. Open Path Collective. You don't need insurance. It's only $60 for the membership for a lifetime.
What?
Yes. And you
for therapy?
For therapy. So the way the system works, it's a collective. It's called Open Path, and pretty much you pay $60 for the membership lifetime. So you can start today and not go back until 3 years from now. It's fine. You always have this account.
Is it quality?
It is. I found mine amazing. Therapist. Shout out to her, Dr. Siobhan Jones, Black woman in Atlanta, actually.
Black woman.
Yes. And they have different races too, or genders, of course. But what they have it set up is that it's making it more affordable for people, and all they have to, their requirement is that each session, depending on the therapist, is either between $30 or $60 per session.
Okay.
And if you want to do couples, I think it's 60 to 90. So really more affordable than the average. And most times people have to wait to meet a deductible of like $3,000, and that's like, what? You know, and if we're talking about financial literacy, I would be remiss to not share that. Therapy is super important, y'all. Like, I mean, when we talk about finances, it really does stem from how you were grown up with it. Maybe you have some traumas with it, whatever the case may be. But therapy helps you reflect and think about that and really help you. So I was gonna say shout out to my therapist, Dr. Siobhan Jones. She's in Atlanta. She's a Black woman, amazing, and pretty much I met her or found her through Open Path Collective. But she actually has an amazing women's health and wellness IG platform called Mental Health. I'm messing up, y'all. So
I'll put it up here.
Yeah, I'm gonna say yes. But either way, I found her through there because she was very, very big on that. I was like, oh, I should just probably go to the source. And so I found her on Open Path Collective.
Oh, nice.
Open Path Collective is actually really affordable, so I have to plug them because when we talk about finance, I'd be remiss to say it. But I only had to pay a $60 membership fee, and then on her thing, they can only charge you between $30 to $60 per session.
Wow. She's
60, so that's fine. But for clients, you could do 60 to 90, and that's all they can do. You just, and you don't have to have insurance. It's really for people that demonstrate a financial need, and let's be honest, everyone can demonstrate a financial need in 60 days. So you can just say, I can't afford mental health, and they'll accept you. So I would suggest doing that.
So even if you can't afford it, they will help you?
So that's their when I say you have to put in the application, you just state like, oh, my expenses are X amount and I make this much.
Okay.
Most times people can't afford mental health because that's a luxury expense. And so with that said, you get approved and you pay that $60 for a lifetime membership, but then you pick your therapist. So you go pick someone that's on the cheaper end, like $30, and then that's your set. That'll be, and you can meet bi-weekly, monthly, how much you can afford. I know for me, I used to pay way more, so I was like, let's rev this up. So we met like every week. Now it's every 2 weeks, and maybe it's in 1 month. Like it does, it really depends on what's going on in your life.
So I also want to say, like, when we talk about Black girl luxury and all of that stuff, like that's a part of being luxurious. Like taking care of your mental health and like health internally and your skin and all of those different things. Like, let's not just talk about fashion and getting a Chanel bag and all that stuff like that. That's not the priority. If your well-being is not okay, then we're not living luxury.
No.
If your finances aren't okay, then that's not luxury.
No. And fitness, all of that, like, it's really huge. So I agree with you. So check it out, y'all.
Definitely. So, and that's affordable. So no.
That I would be remiss not to say that. Seriously.
So let's get into credit.
Okay.
So advice for all of us.
Okay.
Like
all of y'all. Okay.
Like anyone who's getting into credit, like before you continue with that, I want to say, like, a lot of people don't know that you can build credit like way before you're 18. Like even your parents can help you build credit before you're even able to establish credit. And like, I just want to know from you, like, let's say you are 18, you don't have credit at all, you're trying to establish it, what would you do?
Right. So, okay, a lot is there. So, yes, there are ways before, where your parents could help you. They can put you as an authorized user. I would only suggest doing that as a parent if your credit score is good. Obviously, don't. If not, don't do it. So yes, that's a perk. And so that's how I actually built my credit. I was an authorized user of my parents. So I was building credit before I was 18. So that's something that I did that you could possibly do.
Go get your parents.
Go get your parents if they're good credit. But the other thing was, I went to boarding school, so I had loans or something that helped build some credit history. Because I didn't know. Because at first, when I went to college, I also was groomed in a sense of like, credit's bad, you know what I mean? So like, don't just go out there buying frivolous stuff, which when you're thinking about it, it speaks from the fearful mindset. Because of maybe your past experiences with it. And so when you realize that everything is not that bad, if you have good habits and steward yourself and discipline yourself, you can utilize it for a greater thing. So credit actually could be a good thing. Some people may disagree and say, oh, like Dave Ramsey is a big financial educator, he hates debt, so he'll help you get rid of it, which is really great, I think, for most consumer Americans. And that's true, because if you can't control yourself, know yourself. But for the people that can, I suggest, once you pay it off, of course you should pay it down. If you want to utilize your credit or leverage your debt, you can actually go and pay, what I did with my consumer debt, paying off $10,000 1 year. I paid it off, and now I just have my bills that I can put on a credit card there. So every time I get paid, every time I get paid, I pay the bills that are allocated for that time period, and I'm paying it off every month. Obviously, so I'm paying my bills because I know I can pay my bills because I did the budget template, and I'm basically building my credit as I use it, because you need utilization, right? So that's a way to build your credit. The other way I wanted to say too, sorry, I kind of went on a tangent, was when I was in college, one thing I did was I had to get a credit score to get my apartment when I was 21. So I was able in less than 6 months, because I remember I think it was Christmas time, so like I had spring semester, and I pretty much got applied for a credit card, and of course it was really low, like $1,000, right? So it's like, okay, that's fine, whatever, I'm starting out. What I did was put small bills I knew I could afford. I was doing work study as a barista. So I was like, I would put the Hulus, Netflix, and stuff like that. That's like under $20, under $30 at most a month, and pay it off. Because it doesn't matter how much, as long as you pay it off. That's what they look for. Before it states. Before the payment date. Sorry. So like, don't wait till the end of the month. Your payment date is the 3rd. Please pay by 3rd. But yes, but by the time, and they'll tell you, like in the apps, they have all these different words. but you will pay it off, and that builds your credit, and that built my credit really significantly higher.
What apps would you recommend?
For what?
Just keeping track of credit and like
so
dates and stuff.
You're pretty much the bank that they now in this technology world. The banks that I have actually offer like FICO score reading and consulting in it. So I have a few credit cards, but Capital One was my first one, so that's where it is. I was able to look at my credit. It's called Credit Wise. Yeah. Everyone calls it different things, so just look up on your bank. Yeah. And I'm able to see my score, and they'll tell me my history. I have Wells Fargo. I have a few other ones, but either way, they all have their own, like, we can reach your FICO score, and you can kind of get that. Or you can go on, especially now in COVID, annualfreecreditreport.com to get your FICO score. Those are from the 3 different bureaus. That's important to get, and maybe check on an annual basis. You actually can get 2 of them for free normally, but now with COVID, I think you can get up to 6, which is good. Yeah. So you can use it, and you don't have to pull it every month, right? Like, it doesn't change significant unless you're like doing a lot, but pretty much that's a good way to start and look at that as well, so you can understand like where your credit history is coming from, whether it's student loans or consumer debt or mortgage, because there's like 4 different types of debts.
Yeah.
Auto loans. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, it's a lot.
It's a lot of debt.
It's a trap. No,
I mean, you just gotta know how to work the system.
Yes.
Like we were just saying, like the mentality of things. And just changing your mindset about it. Like, I would just do a lot of research, study up on things. Like, instead of watching a video, watch something with financial literacy, or find some channels, find something to just change what you're looking at, what you're feeding your mind with. The reason why I wanted to do this video is because I want women to really understand like what luxury is. Yeah. It's not a material thing alone. It's about like you really grasping a mentality to change everything. Like you could be, very poor in your mind. Yeah. And then you have a lot of things. Right. But you can't afford to pay some bills or something like that. Like that's not what we're trying to do. So on this channel, we're trying to be on a whole and have well-being. Yes. So, yeah. And I love that. I think that's so true. I mean, I'm someone that I'm really actually not that big in materialistic like brand names, and that's just me. Yeah. But I love to watch Lavishly Jackie or any of the Black Girl Unboxing. Like, oh yes, girl, you go. Will I want those things one day? For sure, but that just is not my passion right now or my pursuit. I think for me, I'm really big on Jay-Z's quote, like, you can't pay it twice, you can't afford it, right? And there's no shade to anybody else. Do you? Your man got it for you, that's beautiful. I love that for you. Yeah. But for me in my house and in this single household, I'm my own man. So I'm gonna pay for things. And also the thing is, everyone's different. I enjoy Black luxury through traveling and experiences. So if you guys know me, I've been traveling every month for the past year, and that was my vow to my 26th birthday. Mm-hmm. So whether it's like a road trip somewhere, whether it's domestic, I just came back from Colombia, Cartagena, it was beautiful. Yeah, like I'm about to go to Mexico for my birthday, so I'm just like, I wanted to do that, so I put my mind towards things like that, and there's no shame in that at all, and that's luxury to me because I have a great time and eat so well. I love food. Thing, like whatever you define as luxury, right? Luxury means that it's something that's not a norm that you're able to do. Right. Somebody upstairs or whatever. Anyway. Luxury is something that is an addition to what you have already. Right. Like, okay, I want to take a bubble bath and just relax, drink some wine. Like that's a luxury. Like you might not have the time to do that all the time, but if you can take that time to do that, that's a luxury for you. So whatever. So whatever it is, you know what I mean? Like if it's traveling, if it's buying a Chanel bag at Dior thing or this, that, and like decide.
Make sure you can afford it.
Yeah, make sure you can afford it, and make sure that it's, you're balancing your finances, you're balancing yourself, and you're balancing like nothing of too much is a good thing.
Right. So that's true. Everything in moderation. Yeah. For sure. Yeah. Even though one day in my life I was like, I don't care, I want it all. Like Moody Long said TikTok, she's like, I'm a princess and I want everyone to, my man orbits around me. I'm loving all that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, like, I think that we should have that mentality.
Yeah.
And not starve ourselves, but it's just really changing the mentality. A lot of us have things, but we don't have the mentality to withstand it. And it's, you know, like, let's say Jackie Aina or Aaliyah's Face or something, like, for them, like, being a content creator or an influencer, you come from a normal place, right? And then you build yourself up. So like building yourself up into that person who, you know, where people see you in a different light, your mind has to change as, you know, progressively. Right. So it's different of like your celebrity, like a childhood celebrity or something like that. Like your mind's already different. But changing those things over time is like a really important thing. And we watch them grow. Yeah. Those type of people grow.
Yeah. and that's like, that's how they get their fan base. Yeah. Their story. Yeah. You see their story.
Yeah.
That's super dope.
So if, you know, what advice would you give to people in their 20s?
That's a good one.
20s, yeah.
So there's a book actually that you guys should probably read. I'm reading it currently, but it's Things to Do in Your 20s or something like that. I forgot who it's by. Yeah. But pretty much, what I would say for me though, this is the time to really, like, if we're thinking financially speaking, right? This is the time to really, you know, like you hear the selfish, right? Like, this is your time, do what you want. This is the time. When you graduate, if you graduate, if you don't, that's fine too. You try to make as much money as you can. And it kind of sounds like greed, but it's not. Yeah. It's like, set yourself up the best way. This is typically, stereotypically, you don't have any other dependents you have to care for, anybody else in your life. You really have the time where your money will be just for you, and you want to capitalize on that. You want to start savings. You want to create the discipline. You want to live within those means of whatever the income you're making. If it's not enough to survive, then let's try to figure out ways to make more money, whether that's through side hustles, businesses, another job, or, you know, career change, whatever your heart's desire, honestly. But this is the time to really focus on that and build yourself up to that point. Yeah. And then also too, again, like I said, live within your means, because hopefully you just elevate and keep elevating, and then you realize your lifestyle won't change too much drastically, or it's always like, you know, your basic needs versus your wants. That's a huge thing I could talk about with my clients all the time. It comes down to those things, right? And then the other part is to invest. This is the time, right? Because it's the time of value of money. You're your youngest that you'll be. And you can capitalize, energy, but you can capitalize on the time in the markets, right? Versus, I'm sure there's so many scenarios people see all the time, like, oh, Rudy decided to invest at age 30, and by the time she retired at 65, she had significantly less, versus someone starting at 18 or something, right? And that little gap of year, or not little, but it's kind of little, can make a big difference, especially if you invest properly, or just throw it somewhere that's gonna make your money grow more than you working for it, right? That's what I would suggest, like, doing, because this is your time and you should really go for it. And honestly, think about yourself, and I always say, think of your future self. I'm always, when I make certain money decisions, especially like new jobs or, you know, business ventures, or what would future Jadah want? You know what I mean? When I'm starting to pay and put my money aside for my emergency funds, I'm like, what does future Jadah want? Well, she wants to retire on a Greek island in Greece. Okay, well that deserves a lot of money. Okay, so that means I have to really work towards that, whatever that looks like for you. You know, this is all, again, personal. But for you, I would say, what do you picture yourself out outside of your 20s? Because your 30s is really just your 20s again with more money, hopefully. But you want to do it and steward your money the better way, so that you can really live the lavish lifestyle and all that great stuff. And some people get there sooner than others. I mean, there's some people that obviously major in different majors, get into career fields, they maybe reach a certain quota, 6 figures, whatever. I'm not giving you that as your benchmark, but reality is we are inflated times. You need to have money. If you have not learned anything else through the global panoramic we were in, baby, you need your own. You need to have a backup plan for your backup plan.
For your backup.
For your backup plan. Seriously. So this is the time to really, like, shift and know, like, this is not a game.
Yeah.
The government doesn't care. People don't care. Baby, you gotta think for yourself. Yeah. Do for yourself.
Yeah. And be wise about what you're doing, because it's not, a job alone is not gonna make you all money.
People lost money. I mean, people lost their jobs. Yeah. And that's the thing. It's like, that's what I'm saying. Like, if you didn't learn that, some people got furloughed, some people got severance packages, which is kind of great, but like some people did not get anything. And they were screwed. And they had these stupid stimulus checks of God knows how much.
And then it took out your taxes.
And it took out your tax letter. They said, did you take this? Yes, I did. Well, we'll take it all back. You know what I mean? Thank you for telling me. So, you know, and like, that's real. That's really real. And so that's why I try to encourage my clients, especially like, if you haven't been thinking about savings, start it, you know, and it doesn't have to be something large. I'm being transparent, y'all. I used to save $100 every paycheck. Because that's what I could afford. I was taking my mother, it was just me. It was my first job out of college. Yeah. And so now 5 years in the game, I switched jobs now twice. And my mom doesn't live with me. She goes back on her husband, my daddy, and pretty much I have the money now for me. So now, of course, I've leveled that up and it's like, well, I'm used to doing this much, so I'm gonna add this much to it because I can afford it and I can still meet my goals. And that's what I encourage all my clients to do. Yeah. If you do become a client of mine, one of your goals on top of all your great goals that you have is to get at least $1,000 saved immediately. And once that happens, then you go to 6 months. That's at least.
That's not even.
That's not where you stop. Oh no. If you're a client of mine, you know. Once you get that, we're like, great.
For me, it's 5.
Yeah. So because everyone's different, right? Yeah. And now you know the average emergency is no longer $1,000, it's actually more. I say let's do 3 months of your expenses, and of course you would know that by using the budget template, and then you can obviously times that by 3, right? Okay. Your monthly expenses, and then once you get that, link in the bio. It's called Adulting with Moz Budget Template. Yeah. You're gonna put my IG out, right? Yeah. Okay. So just go to that link in the bio. It's always free. Yeah. That's always my gift. And I do monthly webinars as well. That's free as well. If you want to get a chance to get a feel for me and just learn some things. Yes. And then of course you can obviously work with me, become a client or whatnot. And yeah. But with that said, we use that number, and I'm just giving you game because that's what we do. Yeah. And we times it by 3. No, like baby, each one reach one. Like I'm taking care. Yeah. Okay. I have clients, it's amazing, and God go get me. Okay. So, but I like to at least give you something to lead with, and that's one of them. And then of course you move on to the next level, which I say 6 months is good. Yeah. Shit, at this point, maybe a year if you can. It's something. It takes time. So that's a suggestion.
Okay. So next question.
Yes.
Let's see. So let's talk about why did you call your podcast Adulting is Ghetto?
Oh yes. Okay. So shout out to my podcast. Okay. It's launching on my birthday. Yes. Thank you.
When's your birthday?
July 26th. I'm a Leo. Gang. Okay. So, but yes, you guys can tune in. Starting regularly in August, weekly. I'll be posting something, but each week. But pretty much, Adulting is Ghetto because it's ghetto. Like, what the hell? It started with that story I said earlier. I really was like crying my dad. I was like, they want me to pay bills like every month, like on time. Like, is this what you do? He's like, yes, baby girl. I was like, I live in shelters. Like I've never had to worry about this. And so it was a lot. And then of course, you know, just navigating adulthood. That's where this title came from. So it's basically your favorite millennial, me, living like a regular, amazing life at the same time. Yeah. So with that said, I just kind of created this podcast. I want to create a safe space to give tips and advice, and not just your opinions, because obviously most podcasts are that, and that's great. Our opinions are in there. However, I bring people that are experts in these fields, and I broke it out into 4 different editions. So I think these are 4 different important aspects of adulting, which is relationships, both platonic and romantic, because we all know it's hard to navigate adult friendships and all the other stuff. Then we have health, all encompassing, mental, emotional, your wellness, right? Physicality, spirituality, things that ground you, because obviously we're trying to figure out what we're doing, our purpose, wholeness, faith, if you have it. Yeah. And then last but not least is finances, of course. I just put that last because I have a business already for finance, but finances are huge. So we talk about taxes and budgeting, side hustles, and just figuring out how you can make your passion into a monetized business if that's what you like. And so that's where that is coming from, and I'm super excited to share because I have people that, of course myself, I'll be speaking on things I feel expertise on, but I have other people that's coming in like, you know, pastors and different leaders, therapists coming in and talk about things like that, and singleness, and couples, married couples, dating couples, all this stuff, because I think it's really important to talk about it and have a safe space for yourself.
I feel like for me, like when I read like what the name was, I was like, yes. Like,
yes, like, a lot of people are. A lot of people are. I've been doing a soft launch, like coming soon. And people are like, I love the title, I can't wait. I'm like, I hope y'all like it. You know what I'm saying?
Like literally, I called my parents and I was like, yeah, why didn't you guys tell me this?
Right.
Like literally, you guys didn't prepare me for what like everyday things that I'm gonna go through, and like even financially, they didn't prepare me. Like,
I'm like, technically, I didn't even have to be here. This happened 27 years ago. Okay, this date, y'all did something, whatever, and here I am. So really, it's y'all's fault. But you know, I feel you. Yeah. And that's why I wanted to create that space for you guys, and I'm excited because it definitely is season 1 launching. But of course, it'll be season 2, and I think as it morphs and grows, we can have even more expertise and more opinions, and really be able to talk about the real shit that we need to talk about.
Well, congratulations.
Thank you, girl. Thank you, girl. I appreciate it. I'm excited. It's been a long time coming, y'all.
Yeah.
Baby, as everyone knows, the podcast is a solo dolo show. Yeah. So y'all make sure y'all follow. It's called Ghetto _. Again, we're launching. By the time this probably airs, it will already be out there. If not, just definitely follow and you'll see it.
Definitely. Go follow.
So excited. Yes.
Go support.
Yes, maybe I can have you on there. Who knows?
Yeah, exactly.
I love that.
Well, thank you so much for coming.
Yes, y'all. Thank you for having me. I'm super excited. Literally, honestly, well, can I talk about how we met? Or like a little bit?
Sure.
I don't know. Well, we met, obviously, at this art show. Black-ish. Shout out to Chris Clip and Keon. But pretty much we met, and I just loved her energy, and we just networking. We're like, we should connect. And, you know, we're just talking. So this is us connecting. So it's great. Yeah. So cheers to this. And cheers to successfulness and everything.
Thank you so much.
I love her energy, y'all. And I know you love her too, because that's why you're watching.
Well, you guys will definitely love her. Go check out her podcast. Go follow her. Go support y'all. Jadah is an amazing person. And she will help you with your finances. Yes. Go straight. Go and hit her up.
Yes, I'm your new financial best friend. What's up? Hit me up, girl. Hit me up. Or boy, whoever. I do it all.
So thank you so much for watching this video, y'all. Stay tuned for more episodes. This is my first interview. Yes, the lovely Jadah was our first.
I feel so honored. Thank you so much for having me. The first, okay?
Yes. Period.
Period. I love this. Oh my goodness. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see it.